Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you stretched, because what you're about to hear will dislocate your jaw from how wide it drops. The internet is on fire. Not just a little spark, I'm talking 5-alarm, grab your marshmallows and s'mores kind of fire. And at the center of the blaze, none other than Charlie Kirk. Yes, the same Charlie Kirk whose forehead has more square footage than some New York apartments. This isn't just a viral clip. Oh no, this is the kind of internet chaos that makes the Kardashians look like a silent meditation retreat. We're talking meltdown meets roast session meets comedy legend pile-on. And who's doing the roasting? None other than Cat Williams, the king of verbal flamethrowers, Dave Chappelle, the surgeon of satire, and 50 Cent, the petty godfather himself. Imagine Thanos snapping, but instead of dusting away half the world, he summoned 3 of the deadliest trash talkers alive to clown you on every platform at once. That's what Charlie Kirk just lived through. And if you think this story ends with a simple meme or two, buckle up, because this is just the opening act in a circus that's only getting louder, messier, and more jaw-dropping. Charlie Kirk didn't just stumble into the spotlight, he tripped, fell, and face-planted onto the red carpet of internet humiliation, and the cameras were rolling from every angle. The man's whole brand is being loud and confident, but this time, the confidence detonated like a cheap firework in a crowded Walmart. One slip of the tongue, one rant too far, and boom, the clip exploded online. At first, it looked like another throwaway moment. You know the type. Someone says something goofy, Twitter dunks for a few hours, and the internet moves on. But oh no, this one had spice. The kind of spice Taco Bell wishes it could bottle and sell at midnight. Charlie's rant wasn't just awkward, it was the kind of thing you play 3 times in disbelief, like, wait, he really said that out loud? The internet doesn't forgive. It doesn't forget. And most importantly, it screenshots. Within minutes, TikTok edits were popping up faster than Travis Kelce jersey sales after Taylor Swift sneezed near a stadium. Twitter threads got so long, they looked like ancient scrolls unraveling in real time. Reddit? Forget it. Reddit turned that clip into a full-blown Marvel Cinematic Universe of memes. But then, like a plot twist out of an HBO series, the behind-the-scenes footage dropped. Somebody out there, some anonymous digital Batman, unloaded the secret files. And this wasn't just Kirk saying silly stuff, no. This was Charlie Kirk caught in full volcano mode, screaming at his team like he was auditioning for Hell's Kitchen Political Edition. Papers flying, veins popping, one poor intern looking like they were Googling Witness Protection Program sign-up under the table. And you know the internet's rule. Once there's leaked footage, it's game over. What could have been a 24-hour meme cycle turned into a cultural event. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion. Twitter Spaces opened up like emergency town hall meetings. TikTok creators set up green screen reactions, sipping tea as if they'd been waiting their whole lives for this. Even Grandma on Facebook was chiming in, typing in all caps like she was exposing Watergate. See? I told you he was a fraud, but nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared Charlie for the celebrity pile-on. Because this wasn't just any peanut gallery. This was the Mount Rushmore of roasting. Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, and 50 Cent, all locking in like sharks who smelled blood in the water. Cat Williams went first, because of course he did. The man doesn't miss a chance to drop a nuclear one-liner. He hopped online, looked straight at the camera with those wide, unblinking Cat Williams eyes, and said, "Charlie Kirk arguing with logic is like Stevie Wonder arguing with a stoplight." The internet collapsed. People were quoting it like scripture. Church is about to replace Psalms with cat quotes. That's how viral it went. Then came Dave Chappelle, smooth Sly, the assassin of satire. He didn't even raise his voice. He just leaned back during a set and said, "When Charlie Kirk talks, my brain feels like it's downloading a virus from LimeWire in 2006. The crowd screamed so loud, security probably thought a riot broke out. Twitter clipped it, looped it, tattooed it onto the timeline forever. And then, the final boss, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Look, 50 doesn't even need to try. This is the man who made an Olympic sport out of trolling Ja Rule for 20 straight years. He doesn't just roast, he incinerates. So when he reposted Kirk's meltdown clip with the caption, "This boy sound like he lost his Wi-Fi password," the internet declared it an official knockout. Fans were begging Charlie to just delete the whole internet at this point. Now, let's be real. Normally, a political commentator getting roasted isn't headline material. But this wasn't normal. This was a cultural crossover episode. Imagine if SpongeBob walked into an episode of Breaking Bad. That's how bizarre this felt. Suddenly, it wasn't just political junkies paying attention. Comedy fans, hip-hop heads, even reality TV stans tuned in. Everyone wanted to see the bonfire burn brighter, and oh, did it burn. Clips of Cat Williams' roast started trending in 15 different countries. People in Japan were like, who is Charlie Kirk, and why does this little man keep getting bodied? Brazilian meme pages were subtitling Dave Chappelle's joke like it was a TED Talk. 50 Cent's comment section filled with crying laughing emojis from Dubai to Detroit. The public reaction was insane. Half the internet treated Kirk like the villain of a Netflix true crime docuseries, while the other half just wanted more celebrity burns. People were photoshopping Kirk into Game of Thrones scenes, getting roasted by dragons. Others were editing him into WWE clips, getting smacked by The Rock with Cat Williams doing commentary. The funniest part? Charlie's own response. Instead of chilling out, laying low, or maybe, I don't know, hiring a PR firm, he doubled down. He went live, red-faced, defensive, trying to clap back like he was Eminem in 8 Mile. Except instead of bars, he delivered dad jokes, weak ones. The kind that make you groan so hard you pull a muscle. The chat was merciless. Imagine trying to give a serious speech while thousands of people spam ratio and clown emojis. One person even typed, "Sir, blink twice if Cat Williams is holding you hostage." Another wrote, "This isn't a live stream, it's a public execution." And honestly, they weren't wrong. By now, the story wasn't just about Charlie Kirk. It was about what happens when the internet decides you're the main character of the day. And if history has taught us anything, being the main character online is the worst fate imaginable. Forget jail, forget taxes. The internet spotlight is where reputations go to get barbecued. And Charlie Kirk? He was sizzling like bacon on a Sunday morning. If the first wave of roasting looked like a spark, the second wave was a full-blown wildfire with gasoline, jet fuel, and a dash of Elon Musk tweets thrown in for chaos. The moment Cat Williams, Chappelle, and 50 lit the torch, the internet picked it up and sprinted like it was carrying the Olympic flame. Except instead of lighting cauldrons, it was setting Charlie Kirk's reputation ablaze in every corner of the digital world. Twitter was the epicenter. Hashtags multiplied like rabbits. Kirk meltdown, all Kirk on fire, or Charlie's Angels gone wrong. It was a buffet of clownery. Somebody even started a GoFundMe titled "Buy Charlie a Chill Pill," and within hours, it had raised more than most indie films. TikTok didn't waste a second either. Every Gen Z kid with iMovie skills started splicing Kirk's screaming face onto viral sounds. There was one edit where his rant synced perfectly to Mariah Carey's high notes. Another had him dubbed over the "This is fine" dog meme, sitting in a burning room with his forehead shining like a lighthouse. But the memes weren't just for laughs, they became culture. People were using Kirk's red-faced rant as the new reaction gif. Instead of saying "I'm mad," you just drop his clip. Instead of typing "WTF," you'd send the video of Charlie knocking papers off a desk. It was instant meme currency, and the market was booming. Meanwhile, celebrities outside the original trio couldn't resist. Kevin Hart slid in with a quick jab. Charlie Kirk yelling looks like when my toddler doesn't get apple juice. Boom. Retweets through the roof. Cardi B chimed in on Instagram Live, cackling so hard she couldn't even finish her sentence. All she managed was, "Why he screamed like that?" before collapsing into laughter. And when Cardi laughs at you, you're done. That's an internet obituary. Even The Rock, yes, The Rock, jumped on it. He posted a gym video flexing as usual with the caption, "I lift heavy, but not as heavy as Charlie Kirk's ego." The man didn't even need to mention the meltdown directly. Just a wink, a smirk, and the internet knew. Millions of likes later, Charlie's name was cemented in meme history. Now here's the thing about viral scandals. They mutate. They evolve like Pokemon. And Charlie's fiasco evolved faster than a Charizard on steroids. What started as a political rant turned into a global roast session, then turned into a meme economy, and finally mutated into conspiracy theories. Because of course it did. This is the internet. Some folks started claiming the meltdown was staged. Think about it, one TikTok detective said. What if Charlie leaked his own clip for clout? They pulled out charts, arrows, red circles, looking like they were solving the Zodiac case when all they were really doing was overanalyzing a man yelling about staplers. Others insisted it was a distraction. They want us watching Charlie while the real news happens, they cried, which, ironically, made people watch the clip even more. But the wildest theory? That Cat Williams himself leaked the footage. People swore up and down that Cat hacked the footage just to set up his roast. which honestly sounds believable. If anyone could hack the Matrix just for the joke, it's Kat. And let's not forget the merch drop, because you know capitalism never sleeps. Within days, Etsy shops were selling Kirk meltdown mugs, t-shirts, and phone cases. Somebody even 3D printed a bobblehead of Charlie mid-scream? The bobblehead sold out. Let that sink in. People wanted a miniature screaming Charlie on their desk just to laugh at every morning. Meanwhile, Charlie himself tried to go on the offensive. He released a long-winded official response, which was basically 20 paragraphs of "the media is out to get me," sprinkled with "I was taken out of context." But here's the problem. You can't out of context your way out of video evidence. You can't scream at your team like a malfunctioning robot vacuum and then blame CNN. Naturally, his response backfired. Instead of cooling the flames, it poured lighter fluid. Memes about his context speech went viral too. One tweet read, "Charlie Kirk says his meltdown was out of context." Sir, the context was you being loud, wrong, and red. Another TikTok edit added laugh tracks to his apology video, turning it into a sitcom. Imagine a Seinfeld episode starring Charlie Kirk as Kramer. That's what it felt like. The audience wasn't just laughing at him anymore. They were enjoying his suffering like it was a streaming service. People were literally scheduling Kirk watch parties on Discord. Groups sat down with popcorn, watching clips, pausing to roast, rewinding like they were studying film in a college class called Humiliation 101, and the celebrities weren't finished either. Tiffany Haddish hopped on stage during a set and joked, "At least when my ex yelled at me, he wasn't trending worldwide." Snoop Dogg, the patron saint of chill, posted a meme of Charlie's red face next to a caption. "Somebody get this man some indica." Snoop doesn't even have to roast hard. One post and boom, it's etched in the digital stone tablets. Here's the wildest twist though. Instead of shrinking, the scandal got adopted by music culture. Rappers started slipping Kirk's meltdown into their bars. One SoundCloud track opened with his scream as the beat drop. A DJ in Miami remixed it into a house track, and the crowd went feral. Imagine hundreds of people dancing while Kirk yells about nonsense in the background. That's the world we live in now. By this point, Charlie wasn't just a political figure. He was a punchline, a sound effect, and a global meme mascot. And he hated it. Every time he tried to defend himself, the internet dragged him deeper. Every post he made, every interview he gave, became raw material for the meme machine. He was fueling his own funeral without realizing it. And the ultimate humiliation came when Saturday Night Live picked it up. You know you've officially crossed into career-altering embarrassment territory when SNL dedicates a whole skit to you. A cast member with a giant fake forehead played Kirk, screaming at interns while Cat Williams appeared as a guardian angel of comedy to roast him mid-rant. The sketch went viral before the show even ended. People were quoting it the next morning like scripture. By now, Charlie Kirk wasn't just roasted, he was charred. Internet culture had evolved his meltdown from a scandal into a full-blown shared experience, like watching a season finale together. And the worst part? There was still more fallout to come. Because if you thought the roasting was wild, wait until you see what happened when the dust started to settle and the consequences came knocking. When the smoke finally started to clear, the damage to Charlie Kirk wasn't just visible, it was catastrophic. Imagine a car crash in slow motion, where every airbag fails, and instead of a paramedic, you get Cat Williams leaning in the window to narrate your downfall. That's where Kirk found himself, a public figure reduced to a digital chew toy. The first big consequence? Sponsors. The few companies still tied to him, brands that sell things like vitamin gummies and Patriot-themed pillows, suddenly went ghost. Their PR teams issued statements so fast, you'd think they were competing in the Indy 500. One even said, "We support free speech, but not free screaming." That line alone got turned into a TikTok dance. Imagine teens hitting the Dougie while the caption reads, "We support free speech, but not free screaming." That's what Kirk was up against. But it wasn't just business ties evaporating. Politicians who once boosted him suddenly acted like they had never heard of the man. Charlie who? They'd shrug, while their staffers were busy deleting old photos of them standing together. The political world is like Hollywood. No loyalty, only optics. And Kirk had become box office poison. Even his fans turned. At first, they defended him, typing out long-winded threads about context and the media's bias. But the deeper the scandal got, the more even his supporters started laughing. His comment sections were flooded with bro chill and "we still love you, but this is embarrassing." You know you've hit rock bottom when your own base treats you like a cringe uncle at Thanksgiving? Meanwhile, The comedy world was celebrating like it was New Year's Eve. For years, comedians had been waiting for someone like Charlie to implode publicly. And when it finally happened, they feasted. Comedy clubs across America were running Charlie Kirk jokes every night. He became the new Nickelback of stand-up. The guaranteed laugh. You didn't even have to be clever. Just mention his name, yell into the mic for 5 seconds, and boom, instant applause. And then came the documentaries. YouTube creators with ominous voiceovers started dropping the rise and fall of Charlie Kirk videos like they were making Netflix trailers. Some had dramatic titles. Kirk, the man who screamed too much. Others leaned into parody, Screamin' Charlie and the Meme Factory. Each video racked up millions of views, cementing his meltdown as a permanent entry in internet history. But the most brutal aftershock? His legacy. From this point forward, Charlie Kirk wasn't going to be remembered for his politics, his podcasts, or his rallies. He was going to be remembered as that guy who lost it on camera and got roasted by half of Hollywood. That's the cruel genius of the internet. It doesn't matter how many speeches you give or books you sell. One viral moment can rewrite your whole biography, and let's talk relationships, because even those weren't safe. Insiders whispered that friends stopped picking up his calls, worried that being associated with him would tank their own reputations. At events, people avoided him like he was contagious. He became the human version of Internet Explorer, outdated, glitchy, and something you only deal with out of pity. As for Charlie himself, he tried every comeback strategy in the book. First, denial. It wasn't that bad. Then defiance. I'll never apologize. Finally, pity. The media is bullying me. None of it worked. Because the internet isn't a court, it's a coliseum. And once the lions smell blood, they don't stop eating just because you cry. Meanwhile, the celebrity roasts kept echoing. Cat Williams wasn't done. He added new punchlines in every set. Chappelle casually dropped callbacks in his specials, like a running gag that never got old. And 50 Cent? He treated the whole thing like a personal hobby. Every few weeks, he'd resurface the clip with a new caption, reigniting the flames. 50 doesn't just troll, he slow cooks. And then came the ultimate humiliation, the Kirk Challenge. TikTok creators started filming themselves pretending to scream like Charlie while dropping papers on the floor. High school kids were doing it in classrooms. Couples did it on dates. Even dogs were trained to bark on cue with Kirk rage captions. What was supposed to be his worst day became everyone else's best entertainment. By this point, analysts were asking a real question. Could Charlie Kirk ever bounce back? Could he reclaim respect after becoming a universal punchline? The verdict leaned heavily toward no. In politics, you can survive scandals. In entertainment, you can survive cancellations. But once the internet collectively decides you're a meme, that's a life sentence. Ask Rebecca Black. Ask the kid who yelled, "It's Wednesday, my dudes." You don't come back. You just live forever in GIF form. And the irony? The scandal made him more famous than ever. People who had never heard his name now recognized his forehead before his face. Strangers who didn't care about politics could quote Cat Williams' roast by heart. Fame without respect, the cruelest currency of all. But maybe that's the lesson here. The internet doesn't care about truth, context, or nuance. It cares about content. And Charlie Kirk, willingly or not, gave them a feast. He became content personified, a cautionary tale wrapped in a screaming face, decorated with captions, remixed with beats, and roasted into legend. And here's the kicker. Scandals don't die anymore. They hibernate. This meltdown is going to resurface every year, like Mariah Carey at Christmas. The clip will never disappear. It'll haunt him forever, like the ghost of internet past. So the aftermath wasn't just humiliation, it was immortality. Not the kind you brag about. The kind you wish you could delete, but can't, because the internet never forgets. And every time he tries to move on, someone, maybe Cat, maybe Chappelle, maybe 50, will drag him back into the meme spotlight with a single joke. And honestly, that might be the most savage consequence of all. So there you have it, folks, the epic saga of Charlie Kirk. A meltdown so nuclear it could power Las Vegas for a week, roasted so thoroughly by Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle, and 50 Cent that even marshmallows were jealous. This wasn't just a scandal. This was internet history, messy, meme-worthy, and gloriously humiliating. Now here's the deal. If you've laughed, gasped, or spit your drink out at least once during this video, then you already owe me. Smash that like button, like it owes you money. Hit subscribe harder than Charlie Kirk hits the caps lock on his apology statements. And drop a comment below Because I want to know whose roast was the deadliest. Kat's flamethrower one-liners, Chappelle's surgical satire, or 50's relentless trolling. Cast your votes in the comments like it's the Roast Olympics. And let's be real, you don't want to miss what's next. Scandals don't take vacations, and here at Scandal Spark, we serve them hotter than Taco Bell at 2 a.m. Tomorrow, it might be another meltdown. Next week, it could be your favorite celebrity self-destructing live on Instagram. The circus never stops, and neither do we, so stick around. Turn on notifications, because the next scandal bomb is already ticking. And remember, reputations are fragile, memes are forever, and somewhere out there, Charlie Kirk is still trying to explain context. This is Scandal Spark, signing off. Until the next meltdown, keep your popcorn ready because the internet's drama buffet is always open. Always open.